Hello everybody, welcome to Rocky Pine Ranch. It's a beautiful Saturday morning, about 10:45, and today I'm gonna do a video all about some composting I've been doing, and got a batch that I'm ready to add to my breadfruit trees. So this is where I compost, pretty much right in this wheelbarrow. And what I do is I come by and I just add my stuff every few days in here. Then I take out my cutlass, voila, and I just come by and I give it a little turn. You see in there. And that's it. Now let me show you a final product that I've been having curing for a little bit. Stay tuned. Okay, well, here's my compost in a tile bin. I have sitting out on the sun. I covered it because I don't have any holes in the tile bin, and I don't want it to get too filled up with rain. So letting the heat from this plastic kill some of the red ants in there, and even some of those grubs, which will turn into flies eventually. And they're pretty much harmless to your soil. They'll just keep eating organic matter. You can see there's still some grubs alive in there crawling around, and that's fine. I don't mind that. I mean, look how dark and rich, healthy this compost is. And this is only maybe a month and a half or so of composting. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna split that in half, add it to my wheelbarrow, and I'm gonna supplement it with some really nice organic garden mix I got at Lowe's. This stuff is supposed to have no chemicals in it at all. I've never tried it before, but I'm gonna try it today. And I'm gonna split each bag for one breadfruit tree. I have 2 breadfruit trees, and I'm gonna split that earthworm castings in half and mix it all up in there and give my breadfruit trees a nice treat. Yeah. Okay, so about to mix this stuff up. You can see I got half of the compost in my wheelbarrow for my first tree. This stuff on top is the worm castings. Look how rich and healthy that is. This is the Jungle Boy dirt. Jungle growth dirt. And I mean, doesn't look bad. Looks pretty nice. Nice and black. Feels rich. Feels moist. Got some organic material in there. I'm liking that. And I'm gonna just mix this stuff up now and into a nice heap. Let me see if I can show you the compost at the bottom. Well, it's in there. Some of this here is compost, my homemade compost. And yeah, let's mix it up and then we'll give it to the tree. Over and out. Okay, this is my breadfruit setup. I got a little shade cloth because this is an open area where I planted it right in my driveway in the beginning front of my property. And that huge berm you see behind me used to cover this entire area that I'm on, and had it cleared away, and it just left it very open, very hot, and also left me with a substrate that had been under like 10 feet or so of berm soil with very little organic matter that seeped through. So yeah, I give it a little bit of shade, and I got beans growing around it, scallion. I got thyme, which is doing very good. I've been trimming it back, using it in my cooking. I got some different banana varieties, a dwarf Cavendish, a Gros Michel, which used to be one of the top commercial bananas into the 1950s when a disease took them out of industry. Very popular in the Caribbean. So yeah, I'm kind of doing this, mixed planting, growing style. And look how healthy that breadfruit tree is. And it is just going to love some of this nice healthy stuff I just mixed up for it. I mean, look on that there. I mean, that's just black and rich. All my compost is natural. I put my vegetables in there. Any food items I eat except for meat goes in there. And it's all organic. good healthy stuff, probably a lot of nutrients. Think about when you use, black cow or some of these other things are good. They're full of nitrogen, but what could be better than homemade compost where all these different vitamins and nutrients are going into the soil? And that's the best stuff to feed directly to your fruit trees, in my opinion. All right, let's give it out. So before I put down my compost, I actually just want to trim back some of these. I want to cut some of these red kidney beans that I grew. I really grew them as nitrogen fixers in the soil. Their roots go nice and deep, grab that nitrogen from down below and bring it up to the soil, up to the surface. I'm only going to cut the ones that are looking a bit rough right now. And I'll leave a few of them. Some of them got bean pods. I haven't even really been harvesting them. I mainly just grew them for the health of my breadfruit tree. I think I'll leave the rest. Okay, so I spread this stuff around. I didn't want to go too close up to the bark of the tree. I also don't want to make the mound too high around the tree because I don't want to smother the feeder roots with too much dirt. I want them to be able to stay nice and high up toward the surface of the topsoil. But I kind of spreading it around now with my hands, and it's supposed to start raining in an hour or two. So rather than really aerating the soil with my fingers and disturbing the natural microbes, I prefer to just kind of let the rain slowly seep this stuff into the ground and do its thing naturally. So I kind of focused on spreading it out mostly around the drip line of the tree, and I think this is going to be a lot of the feeder roots of the breadfruit are going to really appreciate this stuff. Look at these bean pods growing on here. I should really pick some of these, and some that are very healthy on here. Beans do a lot better if you grow them on a trellis so they can climb. I threw these here strictly for the purpose of having a nitrogen fixer growing up around my tree. So there it is, and now I'm gonna do the next tree, and that should be a nice little natural feed for my plant. Okay, hello everybody. This is my little office where I work, and here is the next specimen, the breadfruit tree. The Mafala varieties are the two that I have, and my hopes is that this breadfruit will grow up big and help me shade my office. I'm out here in Golden Gate Estates, Naples. The winters can get pretty low, so I planted this one this year in 2022, and in like March, right after the winter. We had a very severe winter, so the other breadfruit tree that I just got done composting, I had halogen light on that tree every night below 60 degrees. And it did remarkably well that way, and we had some lows down into the low 30s. Otherwise, that tree probably would have died back quite a bit. Down here in Florida, we are in the tropics technically from Orlando south, but the southwest of South Florida, our environment is a little bit more temperate here, and we do get some cold, especially this far inland. I'm about 20 miles inland. It's because of all the swamp, the big cypress, the greater Everglades area in general, that holds a lot of the moisture. We also have a very distinct rainy and dry season. Whereas over on the east side of Florida, in Miami and Fort Lauderdale and Broward County, West Palm Beach, that tends to be a lot more consistent, less stochastic, less variability in the weather, it's more warm year round. They get more rainfall year round, whereas, you know, we have a pretty harsh dry season followed by a pretty heavy rainy season. So growing over here in Southwest Florida is definitely more difficult. We also have this Mayaca soil, which is pretty sterile for the most part. I have made the soil around my property a lot richer through mulching like forestry mulching and things like that, which I'll make videos on later. So here's my breadfruit tree. Here's another beautiful mixture of compost, mixed up the same way as I did the last one. And let's feed it. One other thing, again, I'm gonna put it more or less around the drip line and start building out. I don't want to make the soil depth too high, too close to the bark, because I want those feeder roots to be able to stay nice and up near the subsurface of the soil. Breadfruit trees do not have tap roots, as far as I believe, so you know, most of their roots are going to extend outward, and these are very quick growers. So I'm going to keep working out around the tree, making it richer and richer, so that when the roots, as they extend out, they're going to find nutrients seeping down into the ground. Let's do it. Okay, so I got my compost down. Hopefully you can see it right around the drip line of the tree. And now I'm just gonna kind of take my hands and smooth it over, make it nice and homogeneous around. You know, some people prefer to kind of massage it in and aerate the soil. There's nothing wrong with that as far as I know. I prefer to kind of just let it sit on top. This way I don't disturb any fragile feeder roots that may be very close to the surface. You know, like lychees are a good example, where those roots are always kind of at the top and, you know, running very shallow underneath the topsoil. So for me, this is extra precaution. I'm just going to kind of smooth it over. I'm going to let nature and the rain do its work, and let it work deep down into the dirt. Hope you enjoyed my video. It's hot as hell out here. Probably in the mid 80s, getting ready to rain supposedly in a little while. Although it's pretty clear skies out here, and I'm gonna start digging a hole for my Shangri-La mulberry tree, which has been in the pot I've had now for at least a month, and way overdue to get it in the ground. So enjoy the rest of your Saturday. I hope you enjoyed my video on composting. I encourage everybody to compost. It's a great way to get rid of all your natural food scraps and cut down on food waste. You know, I'm by myself, so I generate very little. If you have a family, you can really make a lot of compost really quickly. And in my opinion, there's nothing better, because it's filled with all those healthy things that you're eating. Is also going to benefit your trees, like banana peels, you know, potassium, and avocado peels, and you know, fruit and vegetable stuff peels, and all that stuff is healthy for your fruit trees too. There's nothing wrong with kind of getting some of those manures that give you that quick nitrogen punch, but I believe that you're going to have a lot better assortment of nutrients if you're adding homemade compost to your trees. No wrong way to do it. Just to put it in a bin. You don't have to go and buy a fancy tumbler or anything like that, or although there's nothing wrong with that either. Just every day, every 2 days, make sure you're turning it, because if you let it sit, especially if it's getting rainwater and stuff like that in there, it's going to start to smell and rotten down. So the trick is just to aerate it constantly. As long as you're doing that, there's going to be some that seeps out. You know, some animals might dig in there a little bit. None of that's a big deal. This is all just waste, and you'd be surprised, especially in the tropics, like down here in South Florida. You know, in a month you could have 5 gallon worth of compost, and you know, pick your favorite tree or whichever tree hasn't been fed yet, and give them a little boost. All right, have a good day. Enjoy your Saturday.